Hey everyone, this is an open door and it's Cindy. I had to remember my name for a second. July 28th. This is the hour that we have entitled Where the Rubber Meets the Road, where we take an idea from the Course in Miracles and we spend an hour, you know, playing with how we can bring it into our day-to-day life. Let's put it that way. And, it's so interesting. So we were just talking about organization and who decides or how it's decided what the topic is. And here's a moment of my experience. Last week, I don't think it was in this meeting, in some of the meetings, there was some conversation. And Cindy, the conditioned mind, as a result of that conversation, said, "Oh, sounds like it'd be a great idea to talk about being a victim next Monday. Let's do that." Right. And what followed was the old engineer going, looking up all the words for victim, did a lot of reading, and it just didn't work. It just, none of it. It felt forced. It felt, I even talked to Rana at some point going, man, there's a lot of effort in this. It felt hard. And so I stopped. I said, Cindy's trying to take over again. And I closed the book and I was just like, okay, there's something in, there's something here. There's a benevolent energy that knows what's going on, that isn't from the conditioned space. And I invited that energy to pick our topic. And then the book opened to lesson 190. And as soon as I really sunk into that lesson, going, well, this is perfect. But it definitely didn't come from thinking. Man, the deeper I get into this work, the more I recognize that, thinking just hurts. It just, one way or another, just hurts, which is also this lesson. So, and then thinking is happening anyway. I don't know about you, but the part of Cindy that still thinks is still thinking. And but it's becoming easier and easier and easier to catch. So the last couple of days, every time I went to this lesson, the thinking part of my mind was open, and I loved every line. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out the direction and what I wanted to share because I was trying to figure it out. So this morning I let go of trying to figure it out. And then what followed was Cindy picked up a pen and wrote specific lines that are sprinkled throughout this lesson. So I didn't even invite you to close your, I'm going to do an Amy. I invite you to, you don't have to turn your video off. It's not going to take that long, but close your eyes and just listen to them. Remember that Sandra has taught us that the course is true. It's real. We could trust it, right? So listen to these words. And then I am going to play a song. We're going to just, not even the video, just the music. And it's a song I heard for the first time yesterday in the sanctuary and just fell in love with it. And then I'm going to read those words again. Then I may or may not say a few things. I don't know. And then I'm going to hand things over to Andrew, and then we're going to open it up for conversation. It's amazing what happens when Cindy lets go of the rope. Okay. So here we go. This is from Course in Miracles workbook lesson 190. And remember again that we can trust the teachings of A Course in Miracles. We can trust them to be true. Pain is wrong perspective. Pain is not a fact at all. Pain is a sign illusions reign in place of truth. If God is real, there is no pain. If pain is real, there is no God. Peace to such foolishness. The time has come to laugh at the idea that pain is real. It is your thoughts alone that cause your pain. It is your thoughts alone that cause you pain. There is nothing in the world which has the power to make you ill or sad or weak or frail. The world you see does nothing. It merely represents your thoughts. The world will change entirely as you elect to change your mind and choose the joy of God as what you really want. Pain is illusion, joy, reality. Pain is but sleep, joy is awakening. Pain is deception, joy alone is truth. For me, this song, which I heard for the first time yesterday, represents what we can choose instead of choosing the illusion of pain. Here we go.
Take life as she comes, take life as she comes. Oh, take life as she comes, take life as she comes. Oh, I woke up from the sweet sounds of the songbirds singing outside my window. Rolled out of bed with some thoughts in my head, but I don't have to think right now, oh no. This sweet Sunday morning tastes just like the honey I stir in my tea. Take a deep breath, let it be, let it be, let it be. Take life as she comes, take life as she comes. Sit back and have some fun. Take life as she comes, take life as she comes. Live in this sweet moment. I got the sunshine flickering through my eyes while I dance last night's blues away. I let the fresh air fill my lungs and coffee pass my tongue. 'Cause good times, yeah, good times are here to stay, stay, stay. Ooh, stay. Take life as she comes, take life as she comes. Sit back and have some fun, have some fun. Take life as she comes, take life as she comes. Live in this sweet moment. She comes and she goes as she pleases. Can be stripped from you in any instant. So please, won't you sit in this moment?
Monday morning, thoughts come, but I don't have to believe them. Pain is wrong perspective. Pain is wrong perspective. Pain is not a fact at all. If you drop right now into this moment, just now, is there any pain now? Pain is wrong perspective. Pain is not a fact at all. Pain is a sign illusions reign in place of truth. If God is real, there is no pain. If pain is real, there is no God. Peace to such foolishness. The time has come to laugh at the idea that pain is real. It is your thoughts alone that cause you pain. There is nothing in the world which has the power to make you ill or sad or weak or frail. The world you see does nothing. It merely represents your thoughts. The world will change entirely as you elect to change your mind and choose the joy of God. It's what you really want. Pain is illusion, joy reality. Pain is but sleep, joy is awakening. Pain is deception, joy alone is truth. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, time is a weird thing. There was a lot of physical pain here, or at least that's the way the story goes. And so I'm working with this, and the mind wants to attach, yes, but I am feeling all this pain, and I've heard it from others. I work with people, and I'm here, and so I'm looking at this. There was an experience of pain. So the question comes from all the inquiry that we do. I look and I say, can I find a separate someone here in this moment? Like, even though there's an experience supposedly of pain, right? Instead of believing that the pain means that this teaching is inappropriate right now, I still have to solve the pain. And it was a lot of pain. The question arose from all this work. Can I find someone separate from God right here, right now, that is experiencing pain? Can I find a separate someone? And no matter how many times I look, I can't find this sense of a Cindy who is separate from anything. I can never find the edge. And then the next question comes, well, who sees that? You know, who is in this moment aware that there is no separate someone? And the verbiage that's been coming for me lately is the I am presence. The I am presence is here now, aware of the fact that there's no separate someone. And then what became very interesting, and again, it's all the study, the next question that comes up in this space was, is the I am presence currently experiencing pain? Is the I am presence lost in the sensation of physical pain? And the answer is no. And then what happened in this particular experience? The mind says, but the body hurts, right? And so I just did it again. Can I find the I who is trapped in a body currently experiencing pain? This is not discounting the pain. This is just asking the question, is there someone here separate from the I am presence experiencing pain? And no matter how much I look for her, I can't find her. So I have to accept that there's no one here separate from the I am presence. And then I say, well, is the I am presence currently wrapped in pain? And the answer is no. The I am presence is aware of the experience of sensation that the mind has labeled pain. But it is definitely not controlled by the pain. It is not even affected by the pain. It's just aware of the pain. How do I know that? I just do. And then the mind goes, but I can hardly walk. The hip hurts. Oh. And then this is like the mind so wants to pull me out. I go, no, no, no. So show me there. Can mind show me? I turn around and look. Where is the I separate? And I can tell you it's just a few minutes of this practice. And even though the sensation of pain is still there, it's become muted. And in all honesty, it's no longer affecting me because I am presence. So the body gets to do whatever the body's going to do. And then I don't know what happens all the time, but in this particular experience, there was an intensity in the inquiry, which softened and then became joyous. And at some point, the physical sensations, I don't know where they went, but they were no longer part of the experience. It's a choice. It was a choice. Where do I want to see from? Was the choice at that point. Am I choosing to experience and see from the I am presence, which is just the name that came up this weekend while I was doing this work? Or do I want to see from identifying with the body mind, which I've already proven for myself is changing all the friggin' time? It keeps changing. It's the wave, right? Every time I look at it, it's different than the last time I looked at it. And then the question becomes, well, who's looking at it? Well, the I am presence. And the I am presence doesn't change. And the I am presence, I don't know if it's the joy that the mind says joy should be, but there's just an okayness. It's like the song. Like I love that kind of music, but it's the honey you put in the morning tea. It's the sounds of the songbird. It's the way a cool shower feels on a hot day. It just there's nothing wrong with the world. But I expect that experience would have been very different if I did attempted to fix the pain. And the lesson, I didn't write it down, but the lesson goes into that as well. There's a whole section of this lesson that says you don't have to fix the world. If you attempt to fix the world, and the body is included in the world, if you focus on making the world a better place, you're feeding the illusion, and that's it. That's all you're doing. Every time you try to fix the problem, the worldly problem, you're just feeding the sense of a separate self, and you're making the world more real than God. And perhaps I'm going to tattoo this, or I'll walk around with just this line. If God is real, there is no pain. There are sensations, right? I'm not discounting the experience. It's what are we identifying with? That's sort of the choice point. Am I identifying as a body in pain? Or am I willing to look to see if I can even find a body separate from source, and then look for the energy that is seeing that body and choose to practice identifying from there? That's all we're doing. It's where am I looking from? If God is real, there is no pain. Again, there can be sensation. But pain requires a body separate from source. Otherwise, it's just sensations that are coming and going. If God is real, there is no pain. If pain is real, there is no God. Yeah. Oh, shall we let Patricia talk before you, Andrew? Wow, we're shifting things. Go for it, Patricia.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Wonderful to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. Much love. See, I guess I had trouble with this because it lives in the either or rather than both. Either I'm in pain or I'm not. Either I'm in pain or I am in the presence of the source. Both are true. You know, I have a throbbing shoulder. That's true. And I am in awareness. I am in the presence.
The invitation, Patricia, is to go ahead and look for the you who's not current, who's separate from the presence. The invitation is to do the inquiry. You're assuming that you have a throbbing shoulder, and that is happening, and presence, the I am presence is happening. And in that assumption, there is two. This work is looking for the boundaries and
Okay.
discovering that there's no separation.
I guess what I'm saying is that they come together because
And
both are true.
well, but
So I find that confusing.
well, but the mind, the thinking mind who's trying to figure it out,
No.
100%, well, the
Okay.
thinking mind will always find it confusing. The invitation is to not trust the mind and to look,
Okay.
to do the inquiry work. The inquiry work is never the intellect. It's literally sitting here and saying, can I find a separate somebody, a someone here separate from the I am presence? You look, you really look with your awareness, and you won't be able to find that someone. And then the question is, well, who's looking? And the answer might be presence or awareness or whatever. And at that point, you're like, well, is the I am presence or source or awareness, is it experiencing pain right?
Mhm.
Then you're like, it never is. But there's an experience of pain. And then the question becomes, well, then, but I've already looked and I saw that there is no separation between what I'm calling a person and the presence. The pain is in the mind. You could play with it as much as you want, but the pain you will discover is always in the thinking process of being a separate someone.
Worth a ponder. Thank you.
Well, you can ponder it. That ponder to me means think. I'd like to invite you to look, to inquire, to see if you can find the edge. That's different than pondering or thinking.
As I was as I was reading this, I was thinking of Jesus on the cross. You mean he didn't have any pain? Of course he did.
You don't know that.
Well, I know that's true. I'm assuming he did. I'm
This work
making an
is,
assumption.
yeah, this work is inviting us to question our assumptions. Amy and I have been talking about that. I literally am letting go of everything I'm assuming to be true. As soon as it pops up, I'm looking at it, letting go of assumptions.
Okay, so I'm assuming that when Jesus was stabbed or with his spear going into his side and then the vinegar being poured in, according to the story, that I'm assuming that was painful. So that's just a thought.
It's you don't have a direct experience of that. I can tell you that I gave birth twice without any type of drugs, and I
Mhm.
don't remember any of the pain. There were intense sensations that came and went. And with my first child, it was something like 12 hours. Um, but my mind was so focused on the experience that there were intensity of sensations and there was different things going on, and they cut and did all sorts of things, but the pain didn't happen until I had a time to think about it later.
Mhm.
In the experience of it, it was just the experience of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank, thank you, Patricia. Amy.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Cindy and Patricia. I really appreciate your question. When I wrote about this lesson, I had been going through gallbladder attacks, and this is when I wrote Training Wheels. I was going through gallbladder attacks, and I wrote in there that, I've never given birth, but I've heard that gallbladder attacks are just as painful as giving birth. And I said, if someone had said to me when I was in the middle of a gallbladder attack that I could choose the joy of God instead of pain, I would have found a way, even though I was doubled over, to hit them in the face. Because it would have pissed me off beyond belief that someone would have said those words to me. So it's an affront to the body to hear this lesson. And of course, the ego is the body. And it's not, this lesson isn't asking us to do a spiritual bypass on physical pain. You feel your pain just the same way you feel your anger. You feel your disappointment. You feel the feelings you have. It's part of the experience of being human. And the experience of being in the dream, the human dream, is known through awareness. It's known through awareness. The awareness itself is just awareness. The experience of pain arises within awareness. So when we identify correctly with the truth, which is that we are awareness, there's no pain in that. But that doesn't mean that the experience of being in a body doesn't seem real. And so we forgive. That's where the forgiveness comes. I forgive myself for believing that this pain is real. Right? I forgive the experience. Right? I'm having it seems so real. I forgive the pain. I forgive myself for believing that it's true. I forgive the whole show. You know, what is this experience of pain and breaking the shoulder and having a friggin' gallbladder attack? And as Indigo will tell us, probably, I'm gonna shut up because Indigo's gonna do her truth telling here, but it's an opportunity to remember over and over. And what a powerful opportunity physical pain is, to remember, I'm not the pain. I'm not the pain. I am aware the pain is arising in my experience. I'm aware of it, but I'm the awareness. But still,
Mhm.
the experience of pain is there, and I'm not going to bypass it, right? It's a powerful reminder. What a powerful reminder I'm giving myself. Right?
Thank you. That is so helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. You know,
Was there more, Amy?
no, that's it. I love you, Patricia. I love you, Cindy.
Hey, Nadega.
Hi, everyone. Such a blessing to be here with all of you. I can't. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to know the truth. It's just such a gift to know this love that we all are. And yeah, it's amazing. You know, I still have pain and I still get pissed off. I definitely still, all of those. But when I can stop and I know it's not me, I know it's not what I am. And when I put my hand on my heart, I know this love that I am. And I have so much joy. It doesn't matter what's happening. The body and everything can do whatever it's doing. And I can know this love that I am and this joy that I am. And then I can stop, get quiet. And that's what I do. I ask God because I don't know. I don't know, but God does. And God always tells me what to do. And like even yesterday, I was trying to do something. I was cooking a chicken or whatever. And I did it really the hard way, you know? And I'm like, and today was actually, I was like, oh, wow, okay. I really didn't need to do it like that. Okay, it's okay. Everything is here for me. Everything is God. Everything is love. And when I can just step back and be quiet and know this love that I am, I'm so happy. It doesn't matter what's happening. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be with all of you. I'm so happy. It doesn't matter what's happening because I know this love that I am. We are so blessed that we know this love that we are. We are so blessed and loved by our Father. That's just such a gift. And I love all of you, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Mr. Hunter, how's this moment in your world?
Well,
Oh, you'll have to unmute again.
oh, there
There
I
you
go, twice. I want to say it out loud because then I think that will help verify it. And I think I already know the answer, but I just want to verify that what you just said about this physical stuff that applies equally to emotional pain.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted,
And
I thought so, but I just wanted to say, I needed to say it out loud to be authentic and to verify it for myself.
Yeah.
Thanks for
And
the forgiveness part of that as well, Amy.
I was going to say everything that Amy said. Yeah, just it's absolutely none of what we're talking about here discounts the current experience. It is what it is. And there is an opportunity in each moment to just be aware of where we're holding our awareness and our identity. That's really what it is. Even while the body mind is wrapped in pain, we can practice, knowing our true identity. And my experience is that when we do that, the experience of the body mind shifts. Even if the outer world circumstances do not change and the body continues to fall apart or whatever, are identifying as that and as only that, as it shifts, there's an expansive nature and the forgiveness and the asking for the atonement and just the practice of being in the present moment shifts our experience of whatever's going on in the world. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Andrew, your hand went up and down. I am assuming you're next.
Thank you, Cindy. Hello, everyone. Love to all of you. If a few different quotes from the Course came to mind while I was listening to the discussion. At no time is the body real. That's one. Pain and pleasure have the same purpose, and that is to make the body seem real. I am not a body, I am free, for I'm still as God created me. You were talking about the thinking mind, and that is the ego mind. That's the mind that attaches to the body. I am the ego, the body is the ego. Consciousness has levels because the Course tells us that everything we perceive, we made up in our mind. It's all a dream. Now, the ego part of the mind is not saying, I made this room, I made this house, I made the world. But one part of our conscious mind had to have made that. And how do we complete the atonement? How do we get out of this world and, become one with God and finish the atonement? I think I think we have to be miracle workers. There's somewhere in the course it says that you will be healed as you let God, the Holy Spirit teach you to heal. You know, by making miracles, by performing miracles, we will we will strengthen our faith in the truth of the course and weaken our faith in our own perception. We believe the world because we made it, and we believe in it strongly, even though we know intellectually through the course that it's not true. So, you know, we've got our work cut out for us, but I do really like your approach to dealing with physical pain now. Thank you for your comments. I love this group. Thank you.
As I was listening to you, what came to me was simply that the simple definition of a miracle is a change in perception. And the first line of what I read was pain is a wrong perspective, a wrong perspective, right? It really, and being careful here in the context of our conversation, because for me, wrong just means, you know, where am I looking from? What am I identifying with? There's no judgment in the word from this, like there's no judgment in the word. Um, it's just where, and it's coming back. I got Lisa Natoli in my head. I was texting her this morning, and one of her teachings is, where are you looking from? I don't, I've probably heard her say that like 1,000 times. If in this moment I'm feeling upset, one of the things you could do is say, where are my feet? That's a Lisa Natoli-ism. And you know, where are my feet? Which leads to, where am I looking from? You know, what am I looking from as? Am I looking from a body mind who insists that I am a victim of the world I see? Because if you're looking from that perspective, there will always, for me anyway, there is always pain. There's always a need to defend and attack. And the moment I do that, something in, I realize that something in here relaxes, and I'm practicing going, well, can I find that separate someone? And then when I can't, I was like, oh, so what's looking? The I am presence. And is the I am presence currently feeling attacked or in pain? No. And then it becomes so much easier to look from the I am presence with whatever's going on in the world. And that just, it reminds me of the 10 days I had COVID, because at the day one, there were all these problems to solve, right? I can remember my daughter calling me from Texas, not knowing how she was getting back. And like, she was in insane, like crazy issues, all these problems, all this drama. And I just remember saying to her, my head hurts so badly right now, I can't even hear what you're saying. And she said some version of, then what good are you? And she hung up on me. A couple hours later, I took the text, and for the next 10 days, I couldn't care less what was going on in her life or anybody else's life. I slept, I felt the sun on my face, I ate when I was hungry, I drank when I was thirsty. And the coolest thing is when that experience with COVID ended and I came back up and was ready to engage with others in the world, all of their problems that were so intense when the COVID experience started, they all somehow solved themselves without any help by Cindy, you know? It just wasn't there anymore. Where am I looking from? Hey, Rana.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, depending on when you're listening to this. Andrew brought me right to this sentence from the lesson. And would you deny a little corner of your mind its own inheritance and keep it as a hospital for pain? You know, it's like there's little cobwebs in there, you know, just to be looked at. Shine the light of awareness on, dispel the darkness. Trust that that really does do the trick. Thoughts alone cause you pain. And it could be thoughts about physical pain or emotional pain. I'm so glad that Chuck said, can we apply it to this? Because that's how I'm looking at it right now. The body I am experiencing seems to be pain-free today, and I'm very grateful for that. But the thoughts, they are there. They are there. And I watched a clip from Helen Hamilton this weekend, and what it said was, if there is a sense of suffering, there must be focusing on phenomena instead of the noumena. You know, I'm thinking about something in the world. And the more I focus on these things, the bigger and bigger they get. And then the ego tells me I have to fix it. And you're never going to be able to. And. However, there's another way of dealing with this because of the rhythm of this truth and the fact that I stop by at some kind of gathering like this every day. It keeps me remembering, you know, that I don't have to suffer like that. And I can choose the peace of God instead of conflict. What a great place to be. And then I love Cindy's pointing, you know, is there a person here right now that needs to solve a problem? It's so funny because yesterday's problem was about a prescription that they said might be ready in 2 days. And for, I don't know, a half an hour or so, I felt that, you know, and I just kept going. Now I'm going to rest here. I'm going to rest here. I trust that all will work out. Everything is working for me. It always works itself out. And then today's problem, quote, popped up. Car story, got the diagnosis. It's not squirrels. It's a wheel sensor in the back. About the same amount of money. But the good news is rodents are no longer eating my car. So I am very grateful for that, right? Let's express some gratitude here. Let's see how the illusion that I had created that, oh, the squirrels are back. Not true. Not true. But then they hit me up the head with this other thing that they said was going to be $3,500. And like the mood went, wow, you know, and I paused with that. And I just kept reassuring myself that there was no problem that I needed to fix. Looking it up on the internet and figuring out what they're talking about is not helpful for this one. But I do have someone in my life that likes to do that kind of stuff. And so when the person from the dealership called, I had a series of questions. And now they're looking at the problem again. And they'll call me back later. And I have such a sense of relief. I'm just, no matter what, right? It just feels like everything is working out and it's going to be okay. And it's kind of like a high flying disc on this right now. The mood is lifted. There's no pain, but I see how the thought, any thought can just capture me and pull me in. And then, you know, using any practice, I noticed Cindy said the big but, right? I have this little thing that as I'm doing the practice, right, it's like, okay, rest in this stillness for a moment, maybe ask a few questions. Who is it that is experiencing this? Who do I think I am? Where am I looking from? And then I hear it and it's really quiet. But you really have to take care of what's going on in the world. This is all well and good, but later you're going to have to, you know, and I'm learning to just let that be there too. I don't have to react to that thought because that's another thought. So stay with it, right? Stay with it. And then I come, you know, awareness of these thoughts. It's just a thought. It's not an emergency right now. I need do nothing, just rest and trust. You know, it's just thoughts. And they don't need to be believed. And that's something else I've been looking at. There's a lot of pointings in this story about me being suspicious that people are trying to take advantage of me on my car, the air conditioning, blah, 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 right? And I remember Regina mentioning something, and Cindy may be able to help me with this, that if I'm believing that there's a need to be suspicious of someone in the world, then this belief and suspicion is here. And what did that reveal? That I believe there can be attack. That basic premise from these truth teachings in the course, right? And I can look at that. Can I be attacked? No, then it sends me right back to the lesson. I choose joy of God instead of pain. Practice again. Realign. You know, it's just voices. It's just thoughts, Chuck. Emotional pain is just a thought. The problem is just a thought. And so here's the ha-ha. As I'm sitting waiting to be called on, a text comes and it says, your prescription is ready to be picked up. I hadn't thought about that again since yesterday at 3 o'clock when I was deciding and willing to let it go. Because a new problem has jumped in today. But look, it solved itself. There's no need to worry or whatever. Everything will work out, Rana. There's no Rana. So I'm just having fun with it today, and I appreciate a space where I can just roll through what's going on. You know, the sense of a me with 5 senses is so limiting. I've got to take that moment to go beyond that, to see what's here beyond that. And that's the presence. And even if the mind says, oh, this ain't gonna work, it does every time. And by working, I mean the sense of peace returns in that moment. And I may have to do it 20 times, but that's all right. It just means I'm doing more conscious contact. More conscious contact of consciousness. Thank you.
So if God is real, there is no pain. If pain is real, there is no God. Peace to such foolishness that there is no God. The time has come to laugh. So you want to hear the story that's making me laugh right now? It's about my mother. It's not well, it has a car in it, Richard. It does have a car in it. So my mother is looking for comfortable shoes for my niece's wedding, and she found a pair of fancy white sneakers at this DSW outlet online store, right? So she orders one pair and she gets the email saying that they've been delivered, but they didn't show up at our house. So they apologize and they send it out again. And at the same time, at some point here, she also orders a pair of loafers and she gets the message that the loafers have been delivered and the sneakers have been delivered. And again, nothing is making it into her house and she's getting frustrated. You know, my mother's not the kindest person on the phone and she's calling again and they send it out again. And this time she's like, make sure you put a phone number on the whatever. I don't know what she does. They send out a 4th pair. All right. And after the 4th pair is supposedly delivered, but never arrives at my mother's house, my mother gets a phone call from a complex 15 minutes away going, are you Susan Klausner? She's like, I don't even know why you answered the call. 4 times FedEx delivered the packages to the wrong house. It's not the same street number. It's the same number, but it's a completely different complex. So my parents go and pick up these 4 boxes of shoes. My mother now has this dilemma. She's only actually paid for 2 of them. What do I do? None of them fit, by the way. So there is that. So none of them fit. She has 4 pairs. 3 are exactly the same. And then there's the loafers. And none of them fit. She's only paid for 2. She's going around and around and around. Essentially, she only has to return 2 of them to get that money back, but she has 4. And, you know, you would think that they would offer to come and pick them up, but they haven't. So they make the decision to return them to a DSW store. And she's all concerned, like, how are they even going to take 4 of them back? Because they've only paid for 2 of them. They put the 2 bags with the 2 sets of shoes in the back of their car, and they drive away, and they didn't close the trunk. You know, it's a lift up trunk. And they're on a highway. If you know Jersey, they're on Route 33, and cars are honking at them, trying to get their attention to tell them that they're, you know, the hatchback in the back of this car is open. They finally get the message and they pull over, and one of the bags, like, the world solves your problem, right? Like, how are they going to take 2 sets of 4? How are they going to accept a return of 4 shoes when they've only paid for 2 of them? Well, 2 of them are somewhere on the highway, and they ended up only having 2 pairs of shoes to return. And I'm sitting here, just sitting in this space and recognizing that one way or the other, everything works out. They didn't see it that way. They went looking for the other 2 sets, and my sister yelled at them for, like, driving around in circles on a busy New Jersey thruway and all that stuff. But as far as I know, they've successfully gotten their refund for the 2 sets of shoes, and my mother still has nothing to wear on her feet for the wedding. But it has me laughing, right? Like, the whole thing for me, if that whole thing happened for me, there would have been no stress. I would have laughed from day one. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next, you know? But it does remind me that the worry thoughts, the aggravation thoughts, the stress thoughts, none of them ever resolve. None of them ever resolve the problem. My mother went round and round and round and round for I don't know how long about how many sets of shoes to return. And then the universe took care of it. So what do you think, Richard? I didn't look to see if you were laughing. It did have car, but not the typical car issues.
A miracle for sure, right? I mean, love you all, and happy Monday to everyone. My experience is a little bit different. This lesson taught to that my understanding of the course is a level of confusion. You're either in oneness or you're in the illusion. Now, the world we experience is level 2, the world. And the world is a projection of a thought by a separate self, the one self that is in the dream. And to project is sin, fear, and guilt out of his mind, and that became the world. And we became individual heroes in that dream. So for me, if I want to identify when I'm experiencing pain or discover it, whether it be physical or psychological or whatever, I realize I'm in my wrong mind. I'm identifying as a separate self, the hero of the dream. I need to get out of this mind and become the dreamer of the dream, which is still illusory, but there's only one dreamer of the dream. So I rise above the battleground. I identify as the hero of the dreamer of the dream, and then I enter the Holy Spirit, which is a memory of reality, and I sink into stillness. when I'm in stillness, there are no thoughts unless I grab them. So when I'm not experiencing thoughts in the mind, I'm at peace. And I feel love, and I feel joy. And I think that's what the lesson is talking about. In the stillness, where there is no thought, there is joy, there is peace, and there is love. Now, some of us learn to do that for hours, or maybe days at a time, staying in stillness. I'm still working on seconds. I do it a number of times a day. I sink into the stillness, and I'm getting better and better at it. First it was 2 seconds, and then it was 4 seconds, and then it was 10 seconds, and now I'm maybe a minute or more. But when I'm in that space, I don't experience anything but peace, love, and joy. I mean, my body may be reeking with pain. I may be feeling miserable as a hero of the dream, but as the dreamer of the dream, I'm just observing Richard having this experience and not judging it, and letting it be. As the song said, just let it be. And it too shall pass. It may take a second, it may take a minute, it may take an hour, it may take a day, it may take days. For example, recently I was having the experience of alert allergies. It took about 45 days to clear out of my system, but I was able to sink into the stillness every day, multiple times. And when I was in the stillness, I was at peace. I felt love. I felt joy, even though my body was experiencing this other thing. So that's why I believe, for me anyway, that I'm everything. I'm the illusion and I'm the non-illusion. Because in that concept of myself, which is a concept, I can deal with everything. I don't have to reject anything. Everything just is. Whether I like it or not, it is. So I love you us all, and have a great day.
Oh, 2 minutes. May have time. There's an image that I received from Helen Hamilton that seems appropriate as I was listening to Richard, and I really appreciate it. And she was talking about a field of flowers, like this huge field of gorgeous flowers. And in the center of the field, there is one flower that's dying. Where is our attention being placed, right? Tends to be placed on the dying flower, and oh, I wish that flower wasn't dying, blah blah blah, like the whole bit. And she said this work is about expanding our space, and it's not that we lose sight of the dying flower, but we're now in this expanded space of all of the flowers, right? And the truth of the matter is that dying flower will die, it'll disintegrate, it'll go back into the soil and feed all of the other flowers. It's just part of the cycle. And yet I am resting in the joy and the beauty of all of the flowers. And that's even when I'm looking at this body and the pain that comes and goes, like, where is my attention in any given moment? And I can play with making it like increasing the suffering, decreasing the suffering, and it all really seems to focus on where I'm looking from. Any final words? Meet again at 3 o'clock Eastern. Awakening to Love. Hey, Sandra, I saw it.
I just noticed the time. I'll just say something very quickly. I love this. Thank you all for this beautiful discussion. And in addition to everything that's been said, I would want to say, it wants to be said that miracles do happen. pain is relieved. There is spontaneous healing in this world. And this is A Course in Miracles, and it's true. And there are a couple of paragraphs in here, I won't go on about it, but about what is the cause and what is the whole thing about cause and effect, like paragraph 5 and paragraph 7. And I know, believe, and have experienced the truth, which is what Rana focused on. Thoughts alone cause you pain. Nothing external to your mind can hurt or injure you in any way. There is no cause beyond yourself that can reach down. We are cause, and we can cause healing. Real healing. I'm not just talking about emotional healing or feeling the pain in the same moment as I'm feeling the joy. That's all true. But in addition to that, we absolutely can cause healing, physical healing in the dream world. That's my final say.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording.